Hey folks, John Ferguson Smart here. Sometimes you might have heard me say that I do not recommend Cucumber as a test scripting tool. And what does that mean? It's actually a little bit more nuanced, so I wanted to go into the subtleties of this argument a little bit more. You see, Cucumber is an awesome collaboration tool. It's an awesome communication tool. It's a great way to get teams working together and expressing the requirements, the documentation, the functional requirements, specifications of what they need to build, and to make sure that everyone is on the same page. So Cucumber is a great communication tool, but a lot of folk use it as a scripting tool. A lot of folk use it as a way of writing their detailed test scripts. Click here, select this, click this button, click this other button for a whole ream of operations. It's a fairly intuitive thing to do if you're coming from a manual testing background, but it's fundamentally flawed because it leads to very unmaintainable, very hard to maintain test scripts that are fragile and brittle and break a lot. So what's the solution? The solution, in fact, is to take a step back and to say, well, Cucumber, if you're going to use it, is a great tool for articulating your business requirements, your key examples, the evidence that you need to show to business that a solution does what it's supposed to do, the evidence that you have understood what you are supposed to be building. That is really key. Then you have these more fine-grained requirements, more detailed requirements, things like does an error message appear when you forget to enter the password? Does the button, does the submit button stay grayed out or disabled if you haven't filled in the mandatory fields? That sort of thing. Business don't care about that unless it doesn't work. But as a tester, you do. So that sort of level, granular testing, you do not need to do in Cucumber. I mean, you can if you want. So it just adds more work. If you find it valuable as a tester, sure, go to town. But be careful about doing that thinking it's part of a normal Cucumber flow, because it's not. And plenty of other tools will allow you to do that, even in a very expressive way. Things like JUnit, or a lot of JUnit 5 does a good job for that. Cypress, lots of JavaScript tools, Mocha, all these tools allow you to write really expressive tests at a more granular level, much faster and in a way that's easier to maintain. And if you don't need to show that evidence, if you don't need to use it as product documentation as well as basically doing your due diligence as a tester, then you don't need to do the Cucumber side of things. So you use Cucumber for stuff the business cares about, and then your choices are much more wide open for everything else. So that's, in a nutshell, what I mean when I say you don't need to use Cucumber for test scripting, or don't use Cucumber for test scripting. Thanks for listening, folks.